They want us to sew them. Oh, I was supposed to sew these. Yeah, that's not going to happen. We're not sewing anything. Welcome back to the Workbench, where we try to make things. What we're trying to make right now is the Bamboo Creek Water Garden miniature dollhouse kit. If you like to make your own, if you'd like to follow along and build along with us, check the description down below. There's a link there where you can get your own. But we've made a little bit of progress. It's very slow progress, but we've made some progress. Last time we got together, we worked on, what are they calling this? The cupboard. So it's basically just a cupboard with a little cooker on it and whatnot. In between last time and today, I went ahead and put the pieces together. So together we kind of created the pieces. Let me show it down below here. And then in between episodes, I went ahead and just put it together. Pretty straightforward. It just all kind of glues in place. So anyways, I got that together so we can keep moving forward. And where we're at now is, what are they calling this? Fabrication of the hanging cabinet. So we're going to start putting the hanging cabinet together. And then I've got all the materials we'll need to kind of make it through some of the pillows here. So let's go ahead and get to work on the hanging cabinet. It looks like the first thing we need to do, which I have not done and I need to do, is cut these little black. I need to cut these. I don't know if this is supposed to be candle. I'm not sure what these little black things are supposed to be, but I need to cut them to size, which is 15 millimeters and 12 millimeters. I've got this piece of wire I'm going to use for the 15, I think. Let's go ahead and measure that up. I don't want to waste this wire, so I'm going to go ahead and use it, which is basically right here. There we go. And the other half just flew off who knows where. And then now I need 12. So one just basically just a little bit shorter, I guess, just so there's some variety. Well, whoops. I don't want to cut the ruler. Let's go right here. But I don't want this one to go flying away. There we go. All right, that's got those cut. Let me throw this stuff kind of out of the way. Now we just need to take, basically it's like a very long bead. I don't even know what to call that. And then how's the best way I want to glue this? I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take some CA, which I think I have probably glued the lid onto. This is Starbond CA glue. It's actually really good CA glue. And if you'd like to get your own, check the description down below. There's a 10% discount down in the description. If you need some good CA glue. And they have all different viscosities, colors, all that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna put a drop of it just right here, kind of at the top, at the opening. And then, I'm gonna lay this flat on the ground if I can without gluing it to my finger. There we go. And let's start with maybe the long one first, I guess. And my hope is that'll kind of slide through that CA we just put in there and glue this in place. Let's put the shorter one in. Now, I kind of want them to bend apart a little bit like that. That's supposed to be the shorter one. There we go. All right, perfect. I get, looks pretty good to me. I think that'll glue up. Hopefully you guys can even see it. It's so little. Okay, so that's first things done. And now, let me make sure I stay in frame for you guys. I always forget about that. I got to make sure that you guys can see. It's important that I can see, but it's more important that you guys can see. Now, what we need to do now is stick, these are D6s, or that's what they're labeled as. So we need to glue these together. So what I think I'll do, again, I'm just going to I think I can probably just dot a little bit of CA glue around like so. And then, let's see, let's stack these. And I think our best bet will be, first of all, getting them nice and lined up. That's probably most important. And then I've got a couple clamps I can probably stick on here, one on each end. Actually, let me go here because that's going to be a little hard to grab onto. And while that's going, I'm going to grab a towel. We've got a little CA that's kind of squished out the sides here, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of give that a little wipe. And then we'll sit that to the side just for a second while it cures. And then we've just got a bunch of stuff that's going to sit on the shelf. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. So we've got this gold bowl. We've got a couple of what are, white beads. I don't, whatever they're supposed to be. Then we've got some wood ones. I guess they're supposed to be like little bowls, really. And then where's the last? I've lost, oh, here it is. It rolled away over to here. Come back. This little guy here, which is kind of a fancy looking little bead. So all this stuff is going to get put on the shelf. We'll let the shelf cure just for a second. I'm going to leave this, I guess, all just sitting here. I don't want to lose any of that because we need to put together the fridge is the kind of, I guess, the next thing we've got to work on. And let's see, I'm again going to use our little piece of plastic board here, our styrene. I'm going to give us some CA there on the board because I think the easiest way to glue this up, we're just making butt joints. So we've got to just put a little glue on the edge here and then go like so. Oops. And I'm not using the accelerator on this, just because I'd like to be able to move things around a little bit if I need to. I don't want a super fast permanent joint. You could, but then you're kind of stuck with what you got. And the idea I have is to just, and I guess, really you could use wood glue for this too, but this will glue faster than wood glue. That's why I'm doing it this way. But the thing is, I want to be able to get all the sides put on here and then be able to pull it square and have some time to kind of work with it. And you have, with just CA glue without accelerator, you have a little bit of time. Not all the time in the world, but you have a little bit of time. And then what I think I'm going to do, let's see. The best way to do this is then stand it up. Whoops. Oh, gosh. There we go, just like so. And the most important thing, again, I'm trying to get these edges. Let me slide on down here. I'm trying to get these edges flush. Kind of most important part. And then this should sit right on top of that. Yeah. So I'm just going to touch some CA. Kind of on the inside. I'm putting it on the inside corners because I'd rather it not squeeze out to the outside, if that makes sense. So I want it to see how it's dripping towards the inside. That's what I would rather this do. And then this should tell us if we're square or not. Also, we'll be able to square up on this piece. We're going to assume this piece is square, and I think that's a pretty good assumption. I think we'll be okay with making that assumption. And then let's just hold it for a second. I'm going to hold pressure. Usually with CA glue, and definitely with Starbond CA glue, if you hold pressure for about 30 seconds, you'll get a good glue up. Let's see. That should be good. I'm going to set it to the side now to cure for the time, to fully cure. And then let's bring our wall shelf back over, which should be good at this point. Yeah, got a good glue up there. I did kind of get some smudges on there. There we go. Came right off. All right, so now all we need to do is basically just put the things on the shelf. So I'm just going to put a dot. Again, I'm going to use CA. I'm just going to put a dot of CA in there, and I'll set. Do I have my tweezers? I have the tweezers that came with this thing. I'll use those. I'll try and set it in here, and it just fits. I didn't even think about making sure it would fit in there when I was cutting the black wire pieces. Might be something you should think about is, will it make sure you cut your black wire short enough, or that you push it into the little bead part far enough that it actually, oh, and I did it upside down. I wonder if that matters. Yeah, let's do it the right way. It's supposed to go this way. I wasn't even paying attention to it. I'm going to wipe that CA off. I was more worried about the length of the little black wires. And since we're pulling it out, I am going to actually, can I cut these a little shorter? I like them to sit a little shorter in there. Yeah. There we go. Works out anyway. So let's do that again. Let me put a dot of glue in there once again for this guy to sit in. There we go. And let's do it again with it the way that they say to do it. Just like so. And I could sit it dead center, but I don't think I am. I think I'm gonna set it just a little off center. I think's the way to go there. I'm always a proponent, I guess you would say, of thirds. So don't put anything in the middle. Don't put anything in the quarters. Put it in thirds. You know, like split your space into threes. And then, you know, so in other words, like on this page, it's split in half. Right down. Don't do that. So don't place your candle here. Split it into thirds, and you might would have a candle here, or you might would have it here. I'm assuming that's a candle. I don't know what it is. Whatever that is. But the point is, you know, it's kind of split it into thirds, and it'll make it much more interesting to look at. And I don't know if it really matters if you go, in my opinion, if you go, let me look down here. If you put it on the inside third or the outside third, I went the inside third because it puts more of the mass towards the center. This is very weird stuff, but and so it makes me feel more at ease. Like if you have mass kind of sitting out on the edge, it'll give more of an uneasy feel to me, I think. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm keeping the mass towards the center a little bit. And now what we need to do is just kind of put these bowls on, which obviously it is already in thirds. So I'm going to we have 3 going on. So it'd already kind of be split into thirds, but the bigger bowl or this gold bowl is a little bigger. So I'm going to go probably go right there. So it gives that weight towards the center, right? And then we want these ones. We got 2 of these. What I'll do, I'll just kind of set it on the shelf, and then I'll push it back through the glue like so. So it's going to get the glue, you know, it's going to spread that glue across it. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Just like so. And I'll probably push that one back further, just a little bit. Now, obviously, I can't go back past that. You know, this is a wall hanging cabinet, apparently, so I can't go past this point because it's going to hang on the wall. But I do see, hopefully you can see, they're not dead lined up. You know what I mean? And you could, you know, line them up perfectly. I don't want them that far off. Let me put that back forward. There we go. You could line them up perfectly. And people that, you know, and in a house like this, actually, they probably would be pretty close to perfect, you know, because that's just, you know, kind of, you know, when you're arranging your things, especially in a nice home, you know, they'll have them perfectly arranged. But this is my house, so it's not perfectly arranged. It gets bumped a lot and then left off even, and it just makes it look a little more lived in to me when things aren't perfectly aligned, perfectly arranged, perfectly spaced. They're off a little bit, makes it a little bit more lived in looking, like it's been used some, at least in my opinion. Anyways, let's go ahead and maybe put this guy in here. Again, just a little bit of CA right there. Just, the smallest of dots or puddle or whatever you want to call it of glue. Now, this is going to be hard for me to hold on to because it's round. I think I can get it. Okay. Let's just see if I can get it to sit. How can I? Let me use a piece of wire to try to. That's not going to work. I need something. It's wanting to roll. It looks like a bowling ball in there. And this is where we keep our bowling ball. I don't know how I'm going to get that to. Let me just push it forward with this wire, if I can. It's not sitting on the hole. I don't know. Like, I don't want you to be able to see through it. Okay, let's just try again. I don't want you to be able to see through the hole of this thing. I probably should. You know what I probably should do? Is put the glue on. Well, I don't know if that would work either. I was thinking you could put the glue on the whole side. The problem is I can't get my tweezers to fit in there. How can I do this? Sit flat for me. Very carefully. Yeah, there we go. I think I've got it sitting on the hole now. I'm going to very carefully push that back. I don't want it to roll. I want it to slide. There we go. I don't really like it because I lost a lot of the gold color, but that's okay. I think it's all right. That's going to be better. I don't want you to be able to see through it's a bead, so it has a hole through it. I want the whole top and bottom. And when it rolled, it put the whole front side. I'm going to push this back a little bit more if I can. There we go. Put the whole front side, and you can see through the hole. I don't want that to happen, obviously. And now we need to put the 3 wooden beads along here. I think it's hard to tell if I got glue in there. There we go. Okay. And I'm keeping everything a little bit to the front of the shelf because that's most likely where you would place things, you know, when you're setting up your shelves. Let me put that one over there. And again, I'm not gonna be perfect with this. I'm just gonna, whoops. I'm gonna try to set them in there. And maybe two are a little closer than the third. I don't know. They might only fit one way, quite honestly. Yeah, let's slide. Can we slide this one out? There we go. Slide that one out. There we go. I like that. So we've got a little variety, a nice little wall shelf. I think it looks pretty good. I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Anyways, let me slide that out of the way and we'll let it cure up because that's done. Now all we need to do on our fridge is put the fridge door on, essentially, which is just a paper cut that I've already cut out. Cut paper. I probably shouldn't call it a paper cut. That sounds like I cut myself, but some cut paper. So let's go ahead and put us some glue down like so, and then I've kept the little squeegee thing we made out of some scrap styrene. I made a little squeegee, and then again, always just remember, I think it's important, pull your glue out to the edge. I might have to actually put more glue on here too. You want to make sure and get the edges glued up so that the paper doesn't peel off. If that makes sense. If you don't get the edges glued, it'll want to pull back on you. And I think this kind of helps from doing that. Just make sure those edges get nice and glued up. Like so. There we go. And then I'll just wipe the extra with my finger. And again, I'm using tacky glue. Oops, got some glue on the paper piece there. I'm using, let me show you again. I just use, it's Aleene's tacky glue. I've had good luck with it. It works very well for like a white glue or all-purpose glue. And I think that's a good-looking refrigerator if I've ever seen one. Perfect. All right. Set that back there because it is done. Now, I did want to try to get one of these pillows done. We're kind of running up on the 20-minute mark, which is what I try to limit these episodes to. But I want to do one of these pillows because I have something new since I've done one of these builds before, and I want to try it out. I got some of this. I actually picked it up for my daughter. We were at Michael's. I think it was at Michael's, and we were walking through the fabric department. We were really just kind of walking, trying to get some exercise or whatever. Walking through the fabric department, she saw this unicorn fabric that she just loved. She just had to have it, and you know how Dad is. I bought a yard of it, and I don't own a sewing machine. I've never used a sewing machine. Now, my mom and my daughter, my mom and my sister, they've made their own clothes. They use sewing machines all the time. I've never used a sewing machine. I don't own a sewing machine. But she really wanted, it's just raw fabric off of a bolt of fabric, and this unicorn, and she really wanted it. And so I bought it for her, but then, of course, it's fraying, right? It's not hemmed. So I found this stuff, which is, they call it liquid stitch. And so you can, instead of sewing a hem, you can just glue a hem. Well, I'm thinking this will be perfect. We're going to find out, for doing, these pillows and things for these builds. So let's try it. Let's see if it works. So, what do we do here? We have, I already cut this out. We want to fold, what does it say? Stick along the edge. I love how they say stick. It says fold 11 and then stick along the edge, which means put glue along the edge. Along the edge, turn it over, fill in cotton. When they say, I think by turn it over, they mean flip. So we're going to glue it and it's basically inside out, and we're going to fold it in or flip it inside out, I think is what they mean by turn it over. Is that what? Yeah, and then fill with the cotton. And then we'll glue the exposed edge. How do you glue the, yeah. Okay, well, let's try it. Let's just see. So I've got a fold line there. That's where we need to glue to. So let's use this stuff. Hopefully it's still good. I didn't even try to see if it was still good stuff. Let me move my instructions out of the way so I don't get glue all over it. Okay, here we go. Yeah, and just kind of go down the edge here. I know it worked. This stuff worked really well on that sheet of, or what do you call it? The material. Yeah, it's a sheet of material, whatever you want to call it. It stuck to my finger really well. If it's glue, I can stick it to my finger. That's something we've definitely learned. Wipe that off my finger. Now I think we're supposed to. Oh no! You know what this isn't gonna work. I need to. Can I get the glue off of this side? You gotta leave the open side so you can get caught. So you need to glue 3 sides. I glued the wrong 3 sides. I need to glue the fold side. Obviously, if I had glued that over, I wouldn't be able to get the cotton in to fill it with. Okay, so I gotta be careful because that's gonna want to glue up on me. If I have to cut a new piece, I guess I can, but I'd rather not. Okay. Now, do we have to let this, I don't know should we let this dry and then try to fold it inside out? I need to make sure this is the side I accidentally glued. I don't want that to glue down. I wiped it off, but am I going to be able to fold this? What is it? I would think we flipped this inside out, but I don't know if I'll be able to or not. That seems like it's going to be a bit of a oh gosh, I just pulled it apart. I don't think I'm going to be able to fold it. I really don't think I'll be able to. What does it mean by turn it over? Oh, does turn it over just mean... What am I doing? Oh, was I supposed to like wrap it around? Oh. Maybe? I think maybe I was supposed to wrap the material around. I don't think it's going to matter. You know what I'm going to do? Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to try to fill this thing. We're going to try to fill this thing with some of the cotton we have. I mean, probably, if I was you at home, I'd let this go ahead and dry up before trying this step. But I only have so much time here. We don't have time to wait for it to dry. No idea. Ooh, I kind of hate the feeling of cotton. It gives me the willies. Am I the only one? That's probably too much. Let's go with something like this, maybe? I don't know. How do you even get it in there? Open up for me here. Okay, let's just try. Thinking I might need... Can I use the back end of a paintbrush or something? Let's see. Just kind of shove it in there. There we go. And then I can just glue that closed. And it looks kind of weird because it has these. You know what it looks like? It looks like a pot sticker. It looks like some kind of dumpling, you know, where you pinch a pastry that you pinch the edges on. Is that the way we're going to do this? Or, I mean, I could try to fold it inside out. I'm trying to figure out what they actually wanted us to do, and I'm not for sure. I mean, I think this might be, I mean, I don't think it looks bad. I think this might be how we do this. Because what I think I can do is now glue the open edge. Right, just kind of run a seam very carefully of the liquid stitch, like so. Close up the liquid stitch. Okay, now let's pull that flat and closed and make the biggest mess we possibly can. I wonder if I should just kind of do this number here to hold it like that. And then I think once it's glue and once it's dry, I can go through and just kind of trim. Let me scoot this over a little bit. I can just trim it, you know what I mean? Trim this excess off, because this liquid stitch actually does kind of, it glues the threads of the material together. Let me get this loose thread off. It glues it all, it does glue it all together, so then you can just kind of trim it and you've got like a, you know, a nice edge. So I think that's what I'll do, and I think those will look, I mean, it's an okay looking pillow, right? And then I need to make a second one. It says do that 2 times. So I'll do that in between episodes, along with get all the materials together for the next few steps here we've got going. What do we got going next? We're going to make a sofa. We're going to make some more pillows. I tell you what I might do. I don't think you guys will be too upset about this. I might make these pillows. You know, I'm going to look at how to make these appropriately. You know what I'm going to do? So for these next pillows over here, which you probably can't even see because they're off the screen. So we've got a sofa we're going to make, which this is pretty easy. That actually uses wood that you fold the material around. Anyways, but for these throw pillows, let me see if I can figure out how to actually make these. Fold. Oh, they want us to sew them. Oh, I was supposed to sew these. Yeah, that's not going to happen. We're not sewing anything. We're going to glue them. I'll see if I can figure out how we can make them maybe look a little less like some kind of pastry you'd have in soup or something, and more like a pillow. But anyways, thank you for joining me. Let me know what you think so far. We got our shelf. We got our fridge. Of course, we have our whatever we're calling this thing that we did previously. We got all that stuff done. Next, we're going to be doing sofa. I'll try to figure out these pillows for next time also. And then it looks like we're going to start working our way into some plants. So that should be a lot of fun. We're going to have flowers and all kinds of stuff. So join me next time if you would. Subscribe if you want to keep up. Let me know those comments down below. Let me know what you think so far. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. And, you know, if you want to keep up with these builds, subscribe. There's a playlist down in the description if you need to get caught up. Thank you for joining me. Hit the like button. I don't know. Do all those things you do on YouTube. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.